Buongiorno everyone, welcome back to the Magpie Channel TV, welcome back to St James's Park, and in a week's time we would have played our home season opener against Liverpool here, Monday Night Football, and in 2 weeks time the transfer window will have slammed shut. Finally, can't wait for that one, dear me. And where will we be at that stage, and where will we be next week in terms of the result following that Liverpool game? The team, the players, will these be playing in black and white, red, or just still doing nout? And then in 2 weeks' time, where will he be? What club will he be at overall for the next at least few months until the January window? Who could be the new striker for Newcastle United? Or two of them, as we've been searching for a few weeks now. Well, we're here in this video to discuss that, so please drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave your comments below on all the strikers we are going to mention in this video, because there's been a report from The Athletic this morning stating that Newcastle United are in talks with Wolverhampton Wanderers over their Norwegian striker Jorgen Strand Larsen. The 25-year-old Norwegian international is very keen on a move to Newcastle, and discussions have taken place. However, it is at an early stage with him being on a shortlist, and that list is getting shorter by the day as the time ticks down to the transfer window closing. So first of all on Strand Larsen, before we talk about the other players that are in that pool of potential replacements for not just Alexander Isak, but also Callum Wilson. On Strand Larsen, I really like him. Honestly, I really like him. I see some fans are a bit miffed by it, a bit underwhelmed by it, and I get it, because he has only had one season in the Premier League, but I think it'd be a great signing. I honestly think there's a top player in there. I mean, he scored 14 goals and got 4 assists for Wolves last year, an absolutely dreadful side that were lucky to stay up, to be honest. Cunha and Larsen kept them in it, but if you look at that goal scoring record for his first season in the Prem, is really, really decent, and you think about what he could do here, the team he'd have around him, Alanga on the right, Gordon on the left. He's a real number 9. You know, he's a rare breed these days. He's an old school number 9, but he's quicker than you think for his height. He's powerful. He's really a top finisher as well. You know, he knows where the back of the net is. He's seen his goals, he's flying headers, he's powerful striking. So I think it's a really good option, and I actually really do like the signing, potential signing, of Strand Larsen. I would back it, and I would be in favour of it. Now, I do understand where people are coming from. If you go from having Alexander Isak leading the lane, and then you're waiting on Strand Larsen, who only came to the Premier League last summer. And this is the thing, how much is it going to cost? And we're going to get into this in a minute about how desperate Newcastle might get in the next fortnight, actually less than that now, before the window closes, and how much clubs are going to demand, because they know of our desperation. Well, Strand Larsen has only just completed a permanent transfer to Wolves from Celta Vigo for £25 million. He was on loan last year. I mean, there was rumours it was always an obligation to buy. It was just a way around PSR and FFP for Wolves to get that deal done. But he's there now. He's a permanent signing, but it doesn't mean he can't move this window. We've seen players move twice in the same window on a permanent deal, but if there was any issues to be had, then he could do it as a loan with an option to buy next summer. So there's that route that Newcastle are taking. It looks like Strand Larsen is right up there on a short list of targets for Newcastle. I honestly, if I had to pick anybody right now that's going to sign for Newcastle, I think it would be him. Honestly, I think he's nearing towards what Eddie Howe's looking at. He's not exactly super young. He's not like he's 20 or 21. He's 25 now. You know, he's a couple of years away from entering what's classed as the prime, the peak of the careers. So I think it's a solid signing. I really do. It would just be, what will that fee come to? Because 25 million they paid this summer, they're probably going to want to double that already, which is mad. But these are the mad fees we're getting when you've got 60 million demands from Brentford for Wissa. And then Wolves are going to be demanding a load of money as well. It's nice to see the rain's coming down heavier now. Lovely stuff. Make sure you subscribe. Stand here, pissing down rain, talking about Strand Larsen and Isak leaving. My days. Honestly, I think if I had to pick someone, like I mentioned, Strand Larsen would be the one I see most likely coming to Newcastle at the minute. Now, all that can change. There might be discussions with Wolves at the minute. They might be saying, oh, you can get him for like 40, 45, maybe rising to 50 with add-ons. And then they may just do a Brentford and turn around and go, actually, it's only 12, 13 days after window. How's 70 million? This is what's happening. And we're going to finish off the video on that difficult desperation that Newcastle are facing with signing a striker. So, other than Strand Larsen, the Athletic reported this morning, David Ornstein, that Newcastle do have an interest in Gonzalo Ramos of Paris Saint-Germain. Again, that would be number 1 pick. The number 1 likely option I can see coming through the door here at St James Park is Jorgen Strand Larsen, but if it was up to me right now, I would be picking Gonzalo Ramos. I absolutely love this player. I think the Portuguese forward is amazing. I think he's underrated a little bit by some because he doesn't start all the time for PSG. But after seeing him in the Euros, seeing him in the World Cup, seeing what he's capable of, we've seen his record of Benfica before that, when he was linked to sign for Newcastle and we went with Isaac instead of Ramos. He's a top striker. He's quick, he's nimble, he knows where the back of the net is in terms of getting there as well. You know, his movement is so key. We've seen it last week in the Super Cup. You know, his movement to make space, to get into those right positions, to be right place, right time, to slot the ball in. Class striker. Quality player, so I would love Ramos here at Newcastle. I think he would be absolutely perfect for our system as well. On the counter, pace, beating his man, being in the box, tapping it in. Different goals, but you know, he's a real poacher as well. So Gonzalo Ramos will be a fantastic signing. However, there is issues around the fee and wages. I've forgotten now what he's on at PSG. I think, is it 200 grand a week? So it's not like we couldn't afford that. You know, rumours that we're offering Isaac over that. You know, we know Bruno's meant to be our highest earner on around 160, 170 a week. So you could get a 200. I think Newcastle have got to wake up and smell the coffee and realise what day and age we're in here. That very average players are getting north of £300,000 a week. So if I guess Newcastle don't want to offer Ramos 200, 220, whatever it is a week, then that obviously is going to be a stumbling block, as it has been for many signings we've tried to get over the summer so far. Your João Pedro's, your Delap's, they went to Chelsea because it's in London and that, and wages. Yeah, wages. So same with Man U and Boomo and stuff. Wages. That's what the players want, man. We've seen it right now with Isaac. So yeah, apparently it's going to be difficult to get the Ramos deal done. I mean, he has kind of already said as well that he might stay at PSG this summer. I've seen rumours of that, I've seen reports, but some of them are conflicting. Some of them are dated from a year ago. Some are saying he said it after the Super Cup. Well, he may be happy in Paris, but he's sitting on the bench as well, and there's a World Cup year. I don't know. He's going to get in the team anyway, so he might be all right with that. But if Newcastle could entice him here with the project, then I think that would be a solid move. But apparently it's going to be difficult to do over the wages, which is a very similar story for the next man we're going to talk about, and that is Samu of Porto. Now, his name came out of nowhere a week or so ago, and I would absolutely love this sign as well. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of the Strand Larsen one. I think it's underrated. Ramos would be my first pick, but Samu would actually be the second pick because Samu is a beast and he is going to be absolutely class. However, after one good season, a real breakthrough season in Portugal, they are demanding silly money. Porto are asking for around 70 to 80 million quid for Samu, which is absolutely nuts, man. You have one good season in Portugal now, where they're playing crap teams every week apart from, what, 2 or 3 of them? Porto, Benfica and Sporting Lisbon. Everyone else you've never heard of before. We've seen it already. The Yokeres flopping. Called it in the podcast last week. Early doors also fans, don't worry. But I actually do think he won't do as well as people think or hope, or the transfer fee that he went for suggests. But with Samu, I think he just looks like he's going to kick on and become an elite striker. However, you can't go paying 80 million quid for someone who's had one breakthrough season in Portugal. It's risky. Portugal's risky. I mean, Bundesliga, Germany's risky. But Portuguese league seems to be a real risky one. We've seen it with Darwin Núñez. We've seen it with many other strikers. But Samu, I just like him as an overall profile. When you see him on the pitch, the attributes he's bringing, you know, the strength, the power, the pace, the striking capabilities. I mean, he's a unit, isn't he? And he would really excite us, and I think he would be a passionate one here in front of the fan base. But speaking of that, you know, he's been crying when he got injured last night for Porto when he came off the pitch. Don't know the extent of the injury, but he was crying, so that might be a bad one, so that could rule that out already. Last week when he scored, he's kissing the Porto badge. Doesn't really mean much because he's acted all that. But yeah, I just think this one again is going to be hard to do as the Athletic State because of the fees mentioned. So 80 million, we're not going to do that unless you got the 150 frees out and think, do a gamble? Do we spend half of that on Samu? Maybe. But at the time being, that is looking unlikely. Thankfully, no mention of Nicholas Jackson on this list, although I see people online now saying sign him, and I think that shows what we're going to talk about now, desperation. I think even us as a fan base are now thinking, you know how it is, we'll take Jackson. About a month ago when he was linked, everyone's like, no way, definitely not. And now because the window's closing soon and we've got knee striker in, I get it because you think, bloody hell, Jackson, I mean, he's going to do better than Asula, isn't he? He's going to do better than Gordon when it's not his position as a 9. But I'm still like, Nicholas Jackson, nah. He wasn't on the list from the Athletic. From what we've told, it's not likely that we're going to move forward Jackson now with the 65 million fee quoted by Chelsea. So I can't see that one. Links yesterday, as I mentioned in last night's video, for Aston Villa, weighing up a move for Jackson. He'd probably go there and do absolutely unreal. But I guess Jackson, see, even I'm starting like the little ooh because of just desperation. And that's where we're at now, because 13 days left of the window with knee striker, an unhappy one on the bench that wants to move, that still might move. Wilson's gone. We're absolutely bone dry, unlike me. Listen, wet. We're absolutely bone dry up front. You know, the options, the lack of them is scary, man. It's really scary because, like I say, less than a week now until we play Liverpool here. If we haven't got a striker in, are we going to score more goals than Liverpool to win that game? Unlikely. No, we drew a blank against Villa, against 10 men. So I think we'll give Liverpool a real good game here next week, even if it's the same team that played against Villa. But this Liverpool side with Wirtz, with Ekitike, with Salah, all the rest of them, they're going to come here. They're going to come to most Premier League grounds and score at least 2 goals. So are we going to score more than 2 goals and make it a draw again like last year? I just think if we had Wissa in, if we had a quality striker in the next few days, really hope we do, then we could beat Liverpool. And we could kick on and we could show that we're going to have another great season. There was glimpses of that against Aston Villa. I was really impressed with the performance, particularly in the first half. But time's ticking now, man. We need a striker through there. We need 2. We haven't got Wilson's replacement, never mind Isak, who's still here. I mean, what is going to happen here? No one really knows because, let's be honest, no one in there knows yet. No one in there knows yet because they haven't got a replacement for Wilson. They haven't got a replacement for Isak. Isak can't go. Isak's bid hasn't been met yet. Liverpool haven't came in with a fair enough valuation. The Wissa thing's crumbling. You know, we'll hear about that today. Hopefully things might break as I'm even doing this video on Tuesday morning. But the Wissa stuff, Brentford asking for crazy money, 60 million quid. For a player that's got 1 year left on his deal. I've seen a couple of comments last night. Must be angry Brentford fans or Liverpool fans, and they wind up, oh, he's got 2 years left. He hasn't. He's got 1 year left. Brentford do have an option to extend by a year, which they have not activated. So that means, as it stands, he has 1 year left on his deal. Because they want to sell. They know the player wants to go. He's not training with them. They want to sell. They're just asking for more money because they know how desperate Newcastle are now. So that 35 million that was agreed a week ago is now risen to 50, 60 million. Because they know how desperate we are. They know how much we need strikers. So everyone's going to be doing this to us now, no matter who it is, whether it's Wolves for Strand Larsen, Porto for Samu, Brentford for Wissa. Every single player that we approach now, every single club we get on the phone to and ask for their availability, they're like, well, if you were West Ham, he's probably about 30 million, but since it's Newcastle, double it. Double it, because you're going to get the Isak money and you're absolutely desperate, regardless of the fact if he leaves or not. So we're getting a bit hamstrung now. We're getting with hands tied behind our back a little bit, and it's going to be a tough one. You know what I mean? A really tough 13 days to Newcastle. But we had a really good week last week. Brought in Chow, brought in Ramsey. Let's hope things pick up for the rest of this week. Obviously, we'll keep you updated if any news breaks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get told when a new video is out. Drop your thoughts below in the striker search. What happens next for Newcastle? What's going to happen here in less than a week's time against Liverpool? In less than 2 weeks' time? Who will actually be through the door at St James's Park, and who will actually have left? Isak or no? Cheers for watching, everyone. I'll see you on the next one.